Hello everyone. So I've been able to isolate the problem to the barrel chamber. Okay, it's a beautiful barrel, but the chamber is slightly out of spec. I did remove the cover plate completely because initially I thought that maybe the screw from the cover plate was pinching the extractor rod, and that's not the case. Let me just fire a couple of shots so you guys can see the type of jam that we're having. Okay, so basically a failure to extract. Pull this out, and I've seen this repetitively. I've already been through about 100 rounds of this. Okay. So basically, for whatever reason, these cases are getting stuck in the chamber, and they're not extracting. Some getting stuck worse than others, where I really need to get another case and yank them out. And the test, right? Let me put this aside. This is obviously this is a kit that came from ADP Builder. This is the El Jefe, the Elite. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So this is one that I got last week. That's got the Zafiri Precision barrel in it on an Armor Alloy lower. So what I'm going to do is, this one I know works. I'm going to take this one apart, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the barrel out of this. Okay, put this on this side here so we don't get mixed up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this barrel in this slide, and I'm going to use the same recoil spring. That's now there is also a problem with this recoil spring, because one of the things I noticed is that this one over here, if you put it in sideways like this, the slide gets stuck. It won't come out. But if you put it in like that, long ways, it goes all the way back, and the gun works fine. So now that might just be an issue of having to Dremel, file this down a little bit. I mean, it's not the frame, because the frame is smooth. That's that. So it's not that. That's smooth as butter. And the only part that we do is in the front here. There's nothing back here for us to clean up. But regardless, when I put this other barrel in it now, and like I said, I got to make sure this goes in the right orientation so that we won't have any problems. But yeah, that recoil spring needs to be smoothed out a little bit. Okay. So this is the gun that just jammed up a minute ago. Same ammunition. Okay. That's a different problem. So that was just a misfire. Yeah, that was just a misfire. That. That goes all the way to lockout. All the way to lockout. So there's a problem with the chamber in this gun. Let's try this again, just to isolate that it's not any other parts of the gun, because all I did was change the barrel on this. Okay. All the way to lockout. So that's working fine. Let's take this gun apart. So we're going to take this barrel and put it back where it belongs. That belongs in this one. It's the one that came last week. Now this recoil spring doesn't care what orientation you put it in. That works That comes in order. Let me just, so let's put this one back together. So this is the gold color one, right? It slides the same. It's the El Jefe. Now, if I, just so you guys can see, if you put this in with the wrong orient, like, I mean, this recoil spring is slightly out of spec. Well, if I put this in sideways, right? Right, so I kind of got it in that orientation. Get this to focus. There it is. You can see, you can tell right there from that little crack right there. That crack, but that split. In that orientation, this has a hard time coming all the way back. It's actually coming back better now. If you, and that recoil spring is probably starting. If you put it in long way orientation, seems to. So the recoil spring is slightly out of spec. This is the long way orientation like that. It seems to like to go in better like that. Before it was just kind of like it wouldn't even come all the way back. Okay, so that feels really smooth, right? If I hold down the trigger, right, and I let this forward, you can see how with the trigger held down, it's closing nice. So this gun's working fine otherwise. And we just shot it with that barrel in here, so we know that works good. Get some ammunition in this. And by the way, I did clean that barrel out, so I mean, like I said, I've got less than 100 rounds on it anyway, but I did give it a cleaning just to make sure I wasn't having an issue with that. Okay, so same deal, one-handed shooting. This is how I test the gun to make sure it's cycling properly. Right, so again, it failed to extract. The extractor was working fine because it was working with the other barrel, right? It's not getting hung up on the firing pin, which I have seen with some builds in the past, early on when I was doing. Sometimes the firing pin was a little out of spec, but I never had the problem with this company. I'm gonna go two-handed just to verify that it's not a weak grip or anything that's making this thing not work. Same deal. So we have isolated that barrel is slightly out of spec, and it's just it's for whatever reason it's just gripping the cases. Let's get that guy back out there. It's gripping the cases just a little bit too tight for whatever reason. So there's that last case that just got stuck. Push it in there. I mean, it seems like it's coming out smooth, so I don't know, you know, if it's, I mean, I don't know if the porting, but it seems like it's got something to do with this chamber, or it's definitely this barrel, because when I threw the other barrel in there, I was not having, even with the same recoil spring, right? The only thing I changed was the barrel. It was work. It's been working. I have already fired a lot of rounds with this prior to even doing this video. There's something, I don't know what, but there's something out of spec with this barrel. And I'm going to talk to ADP Builder and see if we can figure that out. See, right now, I didn't put that recoil spring in the right orientation, and it's not coming back all the way. So this recoil spring needs to be rotated. And I think there's a problem with the recoil spring too. I don't know if there's a contributing factor or not, but it wasn't affecting the other barrel, so it's got to be rotated like that. So now it's going back all the way. So for whatever reason, this recoil spring needs to be oriented a certain way in order to get the slide back all the way. So let's see. We'll see what ADP Builder says with this. Maybe if they're gonna just switch out the barrel. I would recommend that they also send a different recoil spring, because that one seems like it might also be faulty. I don't know if all this might have damaged the extractor, just from the extractor working so hard to try and pull that. Some animal running around back there. Oh, two little squirrels. I don't know if that if the extractor's been damaged by working so hard to pull the case out, but we'll see. We'll see what ADP Builder says. But I've bought lots of guns from ADP Builder. Great company, great value. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. Make sure you guys are following me on my other channels on YouTube. I got Absolute Gun Rights, Pocono Shooting, and the original Safa channel that goes back to 2006 on where am I? I'm everywhere. I'm HugeTube on HugeTube, Gun Streamer, and well, on those two channels, I'm Pocono Tactical. On Odyssey, I'm also Pocono Tactical, and on Rumble, I'm Pocono Guns. Also, make sure you guys are following me. Basically, get into my Facebook group. My Facebook group is Building Polymer 80s Before August 2022 Deadline. There's lots of people in there to help you with building these guns. Also, every time somebody's running a sale, like when ADP Builder was running a sale on Father's Day, we make posts in there to let everybody know that the sales are going on. So that's another reason to be in that Facebook group where you can get that information. So that's Building Polymer 80s Before August 2022 Deadline. Talk to you all soon.